Do you think a big government helps or hurts a country?
Well, from my perspective, and I'm going to refer to some of my notes because I had several thoughts around this question. For me, more government means, and the bigger the government means less personal freedom, and bigger government would mean more people working in government positions, or big government would mean more programs that are established and regulated and overseen by the government. I feel strongly that if you teach people correct principles, they can govern themselves and they don't need government leaders and government programs and other entities controlling them and telling them what to do. If you study history, history has proven time and time again that big government always leads to the same disaster, which is a government that will collapse under its own weight. Not time to get into that, but that's something that you all could research. Right now, I think that our Congress believes if they keep creating more government jobs and programs, this will stimulate the economy. We have been in an economic crisis because of excessive debt. So how is it that more debt is supposed to get us out of debt? You can't borrow money to get out of debt. That's just basic economics 101. It's the same thing for in your home. If you don't have money, if you don't get an allowance, if you don't have money to buy things, you have to cut back on what you're spending your money on. You can't just keep borrowing and borrowing. It doesn't make sense. Eventually, it's going to come time to pay the debt, and you either better have a lot of money that you've gone out and earned or have figured something else out because it just doesn't work. I think the thing that people don't understand is that government money does not appear out of thin air. It comes from three different places. One is taxes, which is basically when the government gives your money to someone else with no, and that doesn't create any positive growth to the economy, by the way. And I'm not against taxes. I believe some taxes are necessary, but not to the extent that we're paying. History has shown over and over again that when we lower our taxes, people spend more money and companies will hire employees because they have more money to spend and they don't feel so burdened. Another way that government money appears is by borrowing money, by selling bonds to other countries. So essentially what happens is when it comes time that they want to get the money back that they've let us borrow, not only do we have to pay them that money back, there's also interest that we have to pay on that. So that doesn't work very well sometimes. Sometimes it can, but it gets to a point where it doesn't. It can backfire, especially if we are borrowing too much money, then other countries can own us. China, I think, is getting close to owning a huge majority of our debt. And the third way is by printing money. The Treasury does that. And for every dollar we print up, it becomes worth a little less, kind of like taxing people without their permission. So as you can see, I feel strongly that a big government is not the answer to the problems our country is facing, and that if we keep things small, the smaller and more and the simpler, better, in my opinion.
Thank you.